What's going on, everybody? It's me back again for Wednesday's reading. We are transitioning into the middle of the week. We had some pretty interesting energies coming up for the Monday reading, so I'm looking forward to seeing just kind of how things are shifting as we're getting to that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, middle of the work week, middle of however you kind of parse out your weeks, depending on your work schedule or your not work schedule, whatever is more important to you. But yeah, that being said, let's get into the reading. Let me know down in the comments how Monday's reading impacted you, or if you have any thoughts about the reading, and just kind of questions, comments, concerns about how you see the energies kind of playing out as we're moving into the middle of the week. Okay, shuffling the cards. I think we're just going to do another basic 3-card reading, just how the energies are, maybe things to look out for, and then either just like a clarifying or final advice card. That's how I usually kind of separate these out. It's sort of a basic past, present, and future, but not quite. Sometimes it takes on a different context depending on the flow of the reading. Alright, card number 1. Card number 1, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and that's actually really interesting because in the last reading we had the 3 and the 5, so now we are moving forward with that. With the 7, there's a lot of very odd numbers. It's jumping to the consecutive odd numbers, so that's a really interesting thing in terms of the energy. These are the very kind of somber pentacle cards. They have to do a lot of introspection. You're relating to other people, oftentimes kind of this negative environment. You start off getting recognized for something, and then that creates these obstacles for you as you move forward, and then moving forward with that, you're left to your own devices again, and you continue down this journey. You have more pentacles, you're continuing, you're growing, and now you find yourself alone. You're not exactly sure. You're building up these resources, you've done the work, you've made it through some of the hardships, but you're not exactly sure where to go. You're not sure. You have some of this wealth and experience build up, but you're just not really sure where you want to go with it. Now you find yourself alone. You're wondering, is this all there is? Is there just money? Is there just progress in this? I don't know that I'm feeling more fulfilled. So this is this really interesting opportunity for you to be reflecting on what the things you have gotten you thus far, and how can you pivot moving forward to make this a more fulfilling experience to you. The next one in this jump would be the 9 of Pentacles, and that has to do with riches and just kind of this sense of self-satisfaction and fulfillment. So you're on a really positive path, but you've even come past a lot of the physical outward hardships, but now you're looking inward and trying to decide, what does this mean to you? What did I learn from this? Was this just this senseless suffering? Did I learn anything? Did I get something from it? And someone who's willing to do this inner work will find something there. There is some kind of meaning in there. Even if you have to construct the meaning yourself, even if it doesn't objectively mean anything in the grand scheme of the universe, you can let it mean something for you and teach you a lesson, even if you are the one who has to create that lesson yourself. Okay, that was a lot for the first card. Interesting. It's funny how sometimes you get the first card and it's just kind of a few sentences here, there, and then other times it's just like, bam, you're off to the races. Okay. Next card is the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so we're back on this idea of the storytelling. Like I was saying before with the Pentacles, you're moving forward in this story. This has to do with cycles. Things are revolving, they're changing. They are going through their seasonal cycles. Things are coming up, coming back down, as above, so below, all the kind of basic platitudes about that. So this has to do with your story as we're moving forward. Often assuming, based on the flow of this energy, having to do with what you learned from these reflections, or even just the act of reflecting on yourself. You want to know, how is this impacting the greater story? Like we said, even cultivating this personal meaning, there's a lot of really significant importance based on the narratives that we construct and we tell ourselves about the life that we're living, or the lives of the people around us are living, or the specific activities we do are living. So this is going to have to do with finding that deeper meaning. If you're looking for guidance, because this is also sort of It is that next step, and it's not. It's kind of a where do we go from here? Each of the consecutive cards is kind of like a, well, where do I go based on that energy? So when you are in this position of looking at the things that you have and questioning the meaning and the reality of it, you want to look for that deeper significance in terms of your life. You're looking for this holistic approach. It's the wheel of fortune. It's perfectly spoked. It's perfectly circular. You want to make sure you're coming at this holistically, because as we had said before, there is this notion of just acquiring acquiring riches, but you don't find yourself particularly satisfied. So maybe this is where you need to turn outward and say, okay, I did all this work, or I put all this investment in like a romantic partner or something specific, but I find that I'm not fulfilled still. So a lot of times that's going to have to do with balancing out that wheel where, oh, I put a lot of work into acquiring all this money, but now my personal relationships are suffered, or I focused on this one specific romantic relationship, so all my friendships had suffered, or my work has suffered. So it's about going into this holistic approach. I'm looking at just kind of the figures in this card playing about. There's a lot of different symbolisms going on there. There's all this different meaning having to do with the various ways in which this can impact your life, because it's not the same as just the regular suit cards where it tries to address these topics. This is aside from being a major arcana card, which has to do with the greater themes in your life. The Wheel of Fortune is specifically having to do with all of the themes in your life and the way in which they intertwine and intersect and how they are cycling through them. So make sure you're attempting to round that out, sort of make sure you're attempting to have at least somewhat of a holistic approach, even if it seems a little counterintuitive. You think, oh, well, I still really need to be working hard and making all this money, but I don't have time to go and hang out with my friends or do stuff with my romantic partner. And the thing that you don't realize is that by neglecting that, eventually your work is going to suffer as well, because they're going to break up with you. You're going to lose your friends. You're going to get stressed. You're not going to be sleeping as well. You're not going to have a fulfilling life outside of work. So then your work life is just going to be dogged down by all this external stress. And eventually you're going to be less productive. We see that in a lot with things like the 4-day work week, where it shows that even if you're only going into the office 4 days a week as opposed to 5, a lot of people are still getting the same amount of productive work done throughout that week, even though they are showing up less because they have more time to spend towards these other obligations. Okay, what is our final clarifying, just kind of basic guidance card going for this reading? That one jumped out pretty quickly. Ooh. Page of Pentacles. Isn't that interesting? We discussed the Nine of Pentacles and that being kind of the next step, but then we skipped that step and move into the Page. So I'm seeing that as being this kind of this building of wealth is not the thing that is going to fulfill you. It's a step in the process, and it's not saying you have to skip that. You could be saying, oh, well, I'm working hard for the money and I have all these goals, and that's great, and that's a part of the story. But I'm seeing that through your kind of introspection and looking at this more holistic worldview, you're going to find something else, and that is the following kind of odd card. You jump past the 9, you're skipping all the even numbers, so you're skipping past the 8, jumping to the 9, skipping past the 9, and then the 10, and then you get to the Page, and that's kind of this renewal. So I'm seeing you'll find a lot of really... What is this? And you'll find this renewal. So I'm seeing that by looking past that and seeing that, yes, acknowledging that this building of material comfort and kind of these nest eggs are important to you. It's not the thing that is going to refresh you and renew you. It's going to be what's past that, what is deeper, the holistic approach, what you find when you're looking for that. What is the thing that's missing for you? And that's going to provide you with this renewal of the Page of Pentacles and ultimately balance out this kind of earth element within you having to do with the physical. Because while the earth may not pertain to things involving with like the other water, air, fire elements, you need those other elements in your life to balance out the earth, because too much earth can be self-destructive. It's not that, oh, I'm so focused on my abundance, so my abundance is just right? Like material abundance is just amazing. It's like it's going to suffer if you don't create room to balance out with the other elements. So that's what I'm seeing for this reading. Just make sure you're keeping an open mind. Make sure you're not just focusing on your one specific acquisition of material abundance. Based on the beginning energies, you're already kind of having this thought that that's not what's going to do it for you in the long run. It's going to be helpful, and it might even be necessary for achieving those kind of next steps and moving into the 9 and then the Page, but that is not what you need to be seeking. Seek something else and the material abundance will come. That's just not the thing you need to be focusing on, because it's not the thing that's ultimately going to create this fulfillment for you. Alright guys, that is the Wednesday reading. Give it a like if you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Any questions, comments, concerns, and I'll try to go through and answer those if you have any. And that being said, I will see you in the Friday reading. I hope you are having a good week so far, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.